No, no,
Oh,
Prabhuji.
Yeah, I welcome
Bhargavi Mataji.
Dandavas Pranam Prabhuji. Please accept her humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable association in this Bhakti Sangha conference call. So we are really fortunate to hear from you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time. And you can take over, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. And today's Srimad Bhagavatam verse is 4.26.18 onwards. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So let me take the verse in front of me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, The Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 26, entitled Puranjana Mere goes to the forest to hunt and his queen becomes angry. Text number 18. Narada Uvacha Puranjana Swamahishem Nirikshavadutam Bhuvi Tatsangonmatitagnyano Vaiklavyam Paramam Yayo. Narada Uvacha. The great sage Narada spoke. Puranjanaha, the king Puranjana, Swamahishim, his own queen, Niriksha after seeing, Avadhutam appearing like a mendicant, Bhuvi on the ground, Tat her, Sangha by association, Unmatita encouraged, Jnana whose knowledge, Vaiklavyam bewilderment, Paramam supreme, Yayo obtained. Translation. The great sage Narada continued. My dear King Prachine Bhari, as soon as King Puranjana saw his queen lying on the ground, appearing like a mendicant, he immediately became bewildered. Purport. In this verse, the word avadhutam is especially significant, for it refers to a mendicant who does not take care of his body. Since the queen was lying on the ground without bedding and proper dress, King Puranjana became very much aggrieved. In other words, he repented that he had neglected his intelligence and had engaged himself in the forest in killing animals. In other words, when one's good intelligence is separated or neglected, he fully engages in sinful activities. Due to neglecting one's good intelligence or Krishna consciousness, one becomes bewildered and engages in sinful activities. And upon realizing this, a man becomes repentant. Such repentance is described by Narottam Das Thakur. Hari Hari Bifale Janama Gunainu Manushya Janama Paya Radha Krishna Na Bhajiya Janiya Shuniya Visha Khainu. Narottam Das Thakur herein says that he repents for having spoiled his human life and knowingly drunk poison. By not being Krishna conscious, one willingly drinks the poison of material life. The purport is that one certainly becomes addicted to sinful activities when one becomes devoid of his good chaste wife, or when he has lost his good sense and does not take to Krishna consciousness. We'll also take the next verse. Sant Santvayans Lakshnaya Vacha Hridayena Preyasya Sneha Samrambha Lingam Atmani Nabhyagat Santyavan Santvayan pacifying Slakshnaya by sweet vacha words Hridayena with a heart Viduyata regretting very much Preyasya of his beloved Sneha from affection Sambramba of anger Lingam symptom Atmani in her heart Na did not Abhyagad arouse Translation: The king with aggrieved mind began to speak to his wife with very pleasing words. Although he was filled with regret and tried to pacify her, he could not see any symptom of anger caused by love within the heart of his beloved wife. Purport: The king very much regretted having left his queen and having gone to the forest to execute sinful activities. When a person regrets his sinful activities, the abandoning of Krishna consciousness and good intelligence, his path of deliverance from the path of material clutches is opened. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.5, Parabhavasthavadabodhajato yavanna jignasita atmatattvam. When a person loses his Krishna consciousness and loses interest in self-realization, he must engage in sinful activities. All one's activities in a life devoid of Krishna consciousness simply led to defeat and misuse of one's life. Naturally, one who comes to Krishna consciousness regrets his previous sinful activities in the human form. Only by this process can one be delivered from the clutches of nescience or ignorance in materialistic life. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपं कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. It's my my great pleasure and privilege to lead the Bhakti Sangha Japa group amid sincere devotees that come regularly to do the morning program uh, from the chanting to the Bhagavatam class and throughout the day, so many classes. And at this particular point of time, all the devotees are uh, a big concern in all devotees' hearts is the well-being of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. And currently, as all of you know, he is in a very critical state, and we would like to pray to Shri Radha Madhav, Lord Narasimha Dev, Shri Panchatattva, Shri Prabhupada, and the whole Guru Parampara, that if it is their desire to keep His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj for long, long years to come with us on this planet Earth and healthy, so that we can all take benefit of his association and make rapid spiritual progress. So I'm sure all the devotees are praying, but let us take this one moment and chant the Narsimha prayer. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnum Jalantam Sarvatomukam Narasimham Vishnam Bhadram Mrityor Namamaham Shri Narsimha Jai Narsimha Jai 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 Narsimha Praladesha Mukha Padma Jaya Padma Bringa. So, dear devotees, in this particular section where we are all in is the story of Puranjana being told to King Prachini Barishi by Shripad Narada Muni. And we can, as in many classes that are already are already discussed, this is an allegory, an imaginative story that Narada Muni frames to able to convey a strong message about Krishna consciousness to this king who was so absorbed in materialistic or fruitive activities. And we can see the expertise of a preacher like Narada Muni, that how he so expertly to different audiences he can come up with different kinds of approaches so to touch their heart. And I recount just one incident that recently that last instance that I was there with His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj was when we were going to GBC meetings, and I was suddenly called for some help my Guru Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj, and then I was fortunately on the same flight with His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and I was in the way back in the economy section. But as soon as Maharaj saw that I was in the economy section, he told his servant that why should he sit amidst all of them? He should sit with us. And then he immediately made arrangements, and I was very much hesitant and I was saying that, Maharaj, I don't want to unnecessarily trouble you or make them, because business class seat definitely costs way more, especially when you have to buy then and there. But Mara still insisted, and then I obliged. And then I remember that particular scene where not typically the economy section is filled with people. At time there was once there where it was kind of status symbol to fly in India, but then now it has almost become very normal to fly, and it almost appears to be like a train compartment with all types of noises and no discipline being followed. So I was way back in the economy section, and I was sitting, and the natural lot of noise and commotion, and then right from the front, his servant Krishna Kishore Prabhu, he comes walking towards me. Although this discussion had happened before we entered the flight, I wasn't really expecting that Maharaj will go that extra mile to bring me to the business class. And then he came and he said that Maharaj is calling you, and we have booked a seat for you in the business class. Please come. And then I had no words at the uh, greatness of Maharaj, that how he's seeing that there's some devotee in so-called Maya. I'm within there is so much Maya, and outside there was so much disturbance and material things. But he wanted to do his best within that situation to help me come out of that. And I came in the front, and he asked me to sit right next to him. And out of shyness and deep respect, I said, no, Maharaj, I'll sit in the next seat in the aisle. And as I said, he started to inquire, and when he said his journey, he had just come from Kuwait, from the Middle East to airport, and then there in the airport he had not much time, so he just in the lounge he took a bath and he was ready to take the next flight to Tirupati. And his journey to and he wasn't stationed in Middle East. He was traveling from New York, from New Jersey, and there was just a small hall there. And then I found out that he wasn't even traveling from New Jersey. He was actually traveling from D-Land, the very place where he wanted to go, and where right now he is. And so he took a flight from Florida to New Jersey, and then New Jersey to Bombay, and then Bombay to New Jersey to Middle East, so maybe Abu Dhabi, and then from Abu Dhabi to Bombay, and then this is the fourth flight he's taking in the matter of uh, say 2 days, within say 40 hours. And imagine any one of us will be so tired and exhausted that we don't want to think about anyone else that is there. But in this fourth leg of the journey, he was concerned about some devotee who is not somebody who is known to anyone. I'm just an assistant who was just carrying some important uh, thing for helping Radhanath Maharaj in his service. And so that deeply touched me, and I always treasure that whole flight incident is a symbolic way how a sadhu comes into a devotee's life, a materialistic person's life, and he saves us through some or other means, and at his own cost. And later I had asked his servant Krishna Kishore Prabhu that how much do you have to pay? Was it free? Because I was greatly aggrieved that Maharaj had to uh, uh, pay from his pocket. And then he said, "No, Prabhu, it's all right. Once Maharaj has said, we will do it no matter how much it costs." So that, and so they didn't try to convince Maharaj why should we spend on some unknown devotee who is just traveling, who happens to be on the same flight. And then upon my insisting just to know how much he spent, it was close to around 2,000 rupees that Maharaj or Krishna Kishore who had spent to bring me from that situation to in the front. And 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 I was reading a book. There is a book by Gaurang Darshan Prabhu called as uh, dis disappointed but not disowned. So this book is about all the heartbreaks that happen in the stories of the Srimad Bhagavatam. That how the when the great soul, when he sees that we don't live up to the standards that are expected, then they then they're definitely disappointed. But they never disown a person. Vidura was disappointed by the Dhritarashtra's strong attachments, and he tried to convince, but and then he ultimately had to leave. But he never disowned the Dhritarashtra. He ultimately came and rescued. And in this way, in so many stories, like Dhruva Maharaj, this Dhruva Maharaj never disowned his brother or his stepmother. He welcomed them, although initially there was disappointment. So it's a nice little book that all the different stories, and how there is this concept of don't hate the sinner, just hate the uh, deal with the disease. And I was reading this book and I showed it to Maharaj, and Bhakti Charu Maharaj really appreciated what the book was about, and he asked me, "Can I keep this?" And this is my confession here, that I still feel very bad that I felt that this is a used book, and so part of me was, this is a used book. How can you offer to such a great soul? And I told Maharaj that, Maharaj, I will get a new book for you and I will get it delivered. And then Maharaj immediately agreed. But then, when I reflect on my own anarthas, I see that a part of me was that I'm reading this book. I want to use this time where I'm not doing much engagement to read and complete this book. So a part of me was very selfish that a great soul like Maharaj had asked and I didn't give. But of course, I made the arrangement within 3-4 days. The book was shipped from Bombay to Tirupati right within the GBC meetings, and I made sure that it got into the hands of Maharaj. I never really could check with him whether he actually got the book or not, because later I had to again fly back to Mumbai and I didn't get an opportunity to meet him. But sometimes I feel that I should have just immediately offered him that book. Maybe he wanted to utilize the time to read during that journey. And sorry, devotees, if this is some personal story that touched me so much. I just want to share here because it fits with the topic of devotees and
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, we cannot hear Prabhuji.
That picture is frozen.
I guess he got disconnected too. He's not there on the call.
Oh, Krishna.
You need to call him or he will join back, I think, Mataji, maybe.
I don't know if he realized that he will join, otherwise he will keep on talking.
Yeah, he's joining Mataji, I guess. Yeah, he joined. He needs to dial in.
Hare Krishna. Can
Yes,
devotees
Prabhu.
hear?
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhu.
Apologies, the power went out here and the Wi-Fi got disconnected. So I was sharing this beautiful incident that I had with the last incident that I had with His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and so I was very touched by that experience of how he cares and how he is such a amazing person who wanted to uh, give as much comfort and association possible, even in that such a tiresome journey that he was in. And during our journey, we were discussing about different preaching styles, and he was telling that he recently had met a scientist in some interview, and the scientist was trying to uh, just speak about how everything is coming from some chemicals and different things. And then Maharaj very brilliant asked him that how is it that organic matter does never comes from inorganic things, that how does matter basically how is it that material life-giving products are never automatically found, they're always found in those things that have life. And he went into great details which I don't currently can recall, and I was amazed that after all this tiresome journey and all that, and even when he was there, no, usually when you get old, or you're such an established person, you usually stick to whatever is there, the scriptures and something that are easy to handle. Not to say that what is being spoken from the scriptures is, but like say chant Hare Krishna, that how we should surrender, but all these analytical points that are convincing to someone who is not in the typical fold of bhakti. And I was amazed at Maharaj's still sharp, shrewd intelligence, by which he could, create some faith in his words and create a doubt in the things that these scientists believe were true. And same way here, Sripad Narad Muni, he is the Prachinabari is just fixed in his paradigm of what is life and how one should live life and how one should enjoy life. And to such a person as Prachinabari, who is a king, who doesn't like to hear from others how to be better, because he is the one who usually orders. And usually when we become someone who is the order giver, we usually don't like to take orders. And but to such a king, to be able to touch his soul, touch his heart, change his convictions, change his paradigm, is not an easy task. And Narada Muni, he expertly tells this story, because as his Grace Gaurampu tells in the story of King Puranjana, in fact names this whole seminar as joy of no sex. Of course, it's not just about that sexual activity is totally bad, but the the whole absorption that Prachini Bari was, or Puranjan was, that how that is not something that is helpful, or something that is not some which will be beneficial for our long sustained happiness in this world. So in that, one of the reasons Gaurampu says is that Prachini Bari, being a king, he wouldn't like to take advice or correction from a sadhu, just a mendicant, Narad Muni. But if Narad Muni comes and tells him a story that I want to tell about another king, usually kings are interested to know about other kings. And if and and in this way, Narad Muni brilliantly, he tells him a story of a king of a city, and through that story, slowly, different incidents, different examples, different dialogues that come upon, they all start to go in, because story is a very powerful form to convey messages.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, we lost
Al-
Prabhuji.
Ji, we
almost all.
cannot hear. Yeah, now we can hear.
Okay. Till now, could you hear, or
Yes,
am I
Prabhuji, we can
audible
hear.
now?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. I think the Wi-Fi came back, so the power came back, so there was a brief switching of the Wi-Fi. So let me try if Zoom laptop works. I have to hold this. Because there will be better video and audio with the laptop.
Sure, Prabhuji.
So I will leave from here. Okay. So I was telling that why Narada Muni had you had deployed this kind of strategy was to open the heart of Puranjana and to open the heart of Prachinibari by relating the story of another king, which was an allegory, the story of Puranjan. And Pura, as you might have already heard, Pura means the city, like Jagannath Puri or Dwarka Puri. Puri always means a city. And Anjana means someone who, it has two meanings. One is one who enjoys, and Anjana, they have same meaning. And another is one whose eyes, yeah? Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilocha. So Anjana also means eyes. So one whose eyes is on the city, or one who is just looking, one who is only believing in the body, thinking that his existence is the body. And His Holiness Hridayananda Maharaj had long back written this kind of a novel from this whole episode of Puranjana, and he had named it as the story of John Urban. So John is Jiva, and Urban is the city where. So this John, and here in our small discussion, I'd like to just narrate the way he puts it. This story, it's a wonderful way to put it. Just the way Narada Muni portrays this story, that is very very touching to another king. Same way, the way the story of John Urban is conveyed is very much connecting and apt to any urban youth or urban population. And right now it is not there on the internet. I again searched, but I had found it on my files on the laptop. So if anyone wants, I can share the full document, the story of John Urban. It's a very good read. It will be helpful if you want to give it to any of the Western person also. It it brilliantly conveys the whole philosophy in the form of a story. So so John Urban is a young man who is on an adventure, and he's exploring different cities. And uh, although he's exploring different cities, nowhere he is able to find, because he left his home long back. He doesn't even remember when was the last time he was back home. And in this current context, he doesn't even remember that he has a home. Like sometimes it happens to preachers that when i when I travel too much, then when I get up, sometimes it takes time for me to recollect where am I exactly, because you are constantly traveling. And so same with Puranjan, this John Urban, because he was traveling so much from city to city, after a while he doesn't even remember that he was coming from uh, a eternal city, his home. And then he finally comes to a city which seems to be much more advanced and developed than all the other cities that he had been. And in this case, each city refers to the each body that all of us carry. That we had we go through 84 million species, and in each species, the each body is a city which we inhabit. And after we inhabit for a while, we kind of get bored with it, get all the excitement is gone. I remember whenever uh, anyone comes to United States, I've seen this, that for the first 2-3 months they're super excited. When I was studying in Chicago, any young man that comes, they're super excited for the first 2-3 months, because they want to explore this new city, this new country. And after 2-3 months, all the exploration is done, and they start to get bored. because the tongue is still hankering for the home food, and usually after 2-3 months, homesickness sets in. Till then, all that excitement is there, but after the 2-3 months, even all those parents that visit US, for the first 1 or 2 months they may not miss India, but after a while they start to nag, they start to feel that I should be back. So Puranjana sees that, sorry, I'm again and again saying Puranjana, John Urban, he sees that this city is something different, something very unique, and he starts to explore this city. And he starts to see that he can make a much longer residence in this city like any other. And then he sees that there were different gateways. There were in fact nine gateways, and 7 of them lead to great pleasures, and 2 of them were waste disposal gateways, where all the waste of the city was going. So he never ventured out into the waste disposals, and he was very much excited about the different 7 gateways. And whenever he explored these 7 gates, he saw that there was so much to offer. Of course, all the 2 other gates also gave him pleasure, because all the toxics, all the things that were being that were making the city dirty, when the, what do you call it, here we call it municipality, where when the city waste management team came and they took all the garbage, it was a great relief, because all the trash, all the trunk, all the garbage was cleared, and it was a clean city. So all those 2 gateways also gave him pleasure. In fact, Prabhupada says that one of the pleasures that is there, material pleasure that is there, is when your stomach and when your bowels are emptied out, when things are stocked up here, constipated, then you're in anxiety. But when these 2 gates open, then we feel pleasure. In fact, there is a story which Prabhupada says that uh, it tells in the story of Akbar and Birbal that the pleasure of eating something wonderful, or say hearing you had a child, is the same as you relieving your bowels, when especially when if you are too constipated. And the king didn't believe that, comparing the birth of a child to something, hearing the birth of a child to something that you do every day. And then when he was intensely constipated, and then when he ultimately could go and respond to the calls of nature, then he agreed that it was indeed a great pleasure, great relief for him to let go of all these toxics. And so John, he was he was still exploring the city, and he was very much happy to go around. And then he saw there were so many servants, so many assistants that were constantly helping him to in exploring and enjoying the city. And as he started to spend time, he started to understand that there were 2 places where he never explored. One was in his own palace, and another was towards the north of the city. And he starts to become curious about the north of the city. And then one day he ventures out into the northern part of the city. And as he ventures out, he sees a board there called as the City Academy on the northern side. And when he goes to the inside the City Academy, he sees that there was a beautiful lady sitting there under, of course, Hridayan Maharaj very beautifully explains the campus of the academy. And he sees that there was a girl sitting there and reading a book. And then he inquires with her that, excuse me, I've never seen you in the city. Can I know who are you? And she introduces herself that, welcome to this part of the city where you have never been, but I am the wisdom mistress of this city. That I am the one and my name is Buddhi, and it is me who is giving you all the indications, all the messages on what to do, when to do, and your discriminatory powers. And he inquires with the with this with the wisdom mistress that what else can she help her with. And then she says that, you know, there are two places that you have never visited. One is this city, one is this northern part of the city, which is the city academy, the wisdom center, and another is the heart center. I know that in within your palace there is one room in the middle of the palace where you have never been, and I can help you to unlock and go to that place. And immediately becomes alarmed that how is it that this wisdom city knows about that place, that place in his palace. And then he says that no, I don't want to go to that place. And although I'm always curious about that place, but something within me, within my mind, and my agents, they always tell me not to explore or not to go into that city. And then she asks why you don't want to go into that part, although if it is part of your city and you're all into exploration, you're trying to gather so many different types of tastes. Why don't you want to go there? And John, he says that whenever I go near that room, near that place, all types of doubts start to pop up in my mind about what I am doing is wrong, about my exploration is not proper. The way I am doing it, the way I'm trying to enjoy my life is not proper. And just getting these doubts is so alarming to me that I don't even want to go near anymore to that place. I remember one incident that had happened in Bombay when we were distributing books. One of our devotees in the local trains, he was trying to give a book, Bhagavad Gita, to a man. And as soon as he saw this, he immediately said, I don't want to touch this book. I don't want this book. And our devotee asked, why you don't want to touch this book? No, 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 no. There is so much I want to do in my life. And if I get this book, I'll become like you. And I don't want to become like you, peaceful and happy. Of course, he meant you're not doing anything for the country or for yourself, and I don't want to become like you. So many people, they even if they get this urge to inquire, to go deeper within their life, they often don't venture into that out of the fear that all the illusory happiness and comfort they have is going to go away. As they say in the outer world, that ignorance is bliss. That if you start to become aware of all the things, even Jagannath Mishra, he tells Sachi Mata when Vishwarupa goes, takes sannyas, he wants Nimai to stop studying. And one of the reasons he says that if he starts to study, if he starts to develop his wisdom center, he'll understand that all this material world, all these material things are temporary, and he'll not have any desire, any more aspiration to enjoy anymore. So therefore to be in the material, in the household life, so therefore I don't want him to study. And one of our participants in the journey of self discovery also had once came to Radha Gopinath Prabhu and told him that, I attended this 6 day or 7 those days it was 7 day, I attended this course, and after attending that course, my life has become miserable. And he said, we talked about search for happiness, how is it that your life became miserable? And there's a place in Bombay near Dadar called as Shivaji Park, a place where youth loiter, and it's kind of hangout place, like a bandstand. So he said that now whenever I sit there and I do bird watching, Bird watching means, look at all the different girls. All these thoughts about, how illicit sex is bad and how you have to be responsible, how you have to be loyal, all these spot thoughts start to come, and I can't enjoy anymore. Previously, I didn't knew anything that all this was bad, so ignorance was bliss for me. And when I see all the fish fry or whatever they are selling, I want to eat that, but then I again remember no meat eating. And in this way, wherever I go, I want to enjoy, but all this wisdom is not allowing me to enjoy, but because I'm not experiencing any spiritual happiness, I'm kind of bliss, I'm kind of miserable. I'm neither there nor here. Pehle hi acha tha. That, and so this kind of thoughts do come to people like John Urban, where they don't want to go deep within the core of their hearts and try to find real solutions. And but he did admit that within that secret place is someone who was his dear friend, someone who was very close to him, somebody who already always wished him well. So he knew that there was this unknown friend who was staying there in that room, in that place. And Wisdom Center said that yes, if he's a friend, why are you afraid that he will take away all that is good from your life? And this uh, conversation happens, and and according to the story of Puranjana, which is there in the Bhagavatam, he gets attracted to this girl. With this part, Maharaj doesn't write, and he gets married to her. So the soul, the John, the Jiva, to be able to enjoy this material, this matter, needs an interface, and that interface is the buddhi, is the intelligence that makes us identify with material things, with material situations, and through that it makes us to it helps us to enjoy. And there's another article by His Grace Drutakarma Prabhu, where he presents this whole story in a scientific conference. And in that, he speaks of how there is there is the matter, the material things, and how there is consciousness, which is beyond the matter. And the interface between consciousness and the matter is the mind, which is both material but also is conscious. And he explains how in today's context there is this artificial intelligence, how machines also have intelligence, like our mobiles are there. They hear something that we are speaking and they pick that up, and accordingly they refine. Of course, there is a lot of research that goes behind it, but they're trying to bring in intelligence to matter, which is called artificial intelligence. So same way, that same kind of technology, subtle technology, is already there, where mind, intelligence, false ego, although they are material things, they are not like gross matter, which don't have any consciousness, which don't have any awareness. They can and robots, robots can do a lot of tasks themselves. They may not feel, but in regards to many tasks, they have their processing power, which is ultimately put in there by some kind of programming or something. And it was wonderful to see how Drutakarmapu explains the artificial intelligence in this story, which through the buddhi factor here, that Puranjana tries to enjoy, and he becomes his wife. And there's another angle which Srila Prabhupada constantly presents in this story, that is the relationship between the husband and the wife. And particularly in this current episode, we see that how Puranjana, he had neglected his wife, his buddhi, and he just goes all out to enjoy. He hunts different animals which are like sense objects, and without any kind of interference from his intelligence, he just enjoys. But after a while he becomes tired, and when he comes home, he sees that his intelligence, which is like his wife, has been neglected. And Prabhupada writes there that when the when the husband is there, when the wife is there next to the husband, because of the relationship, there is great restraint that is there in enjoying without any kind of regulation or discipline. But the grahastha ashram helps each one to be limited in their, all the desires that come out in their hunting. It limits them. And more than that, in the next story, in the next chapter, we see that it is the buddhi, it is a wife that slowly guides the soul back to Krishna, back to the Paramatma, back to that unknown friend. And same way, it is the intelligence that again guides us back to Krishna. Therefore, in the Gita, Krishna says, "Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam vipayanti te." So many times Lord Krishna uses this word buddhi yoga, and and buddhi is a very important factor for us to connect to Krishna. So in this chapter of Puranjana, there are two. Uh, the first, the first time when the king Puranjana meets the wife Buddhi, she is called as Dushta Buddhi because she just wants to execute and fulfill the desires of the master. But later, Buddhi becomes Shuddha Buddhi because of the association with the unknown friend, the spiritual master. And by the association with the Shuddha Buddhi, the Buddhi becomes purified. And so that Dushta becomes now Shuddha. And then that Shuddha Buddhi, it brings us to Shuddha Bhakti, or it brings us to the lotus feet of Krishna. So we can so every relationship that we have in this world with our own body or with people around us, it is not that they are bad. We have to purify that relationship, we have to purify those things, and those same things will help us go to Krishna. And else, if we abandon them, then it will take us into deeper trouble, like King Puranjana gets into here. Of course, there's another small short lesson that is there, that how when the wife was feeling neglected, Buddhi was feeling neglected, instead of, wife was feeling neglected, instead of criticizing or correcting, he, with very sweet words, he again tries to console and shows how the relationship between two devotees should be. That if there is a neglect, then one should be aware of that, and one should try to, you know, again reconnect, rather than just, leave it and try to expect that only time factor will heal situations. So this story, in many levels, gives so many lessons, and it's my great fortune to be able to speak something on this in this particular episode. And so, to give a short summary, I first spoke about how Narada Muni is using different methodology based on the uh, mindset of different audiences, and to be able to connect to different audiences. And he had, like, for King Puranjan, he tells his imaginative story. For Dhruva, he gives a challenging a level, and then to Kamsa, he makes him fearful. So in this way, all through Bhagavatam, we see, in fact, Bhagavatam is like Narada Muni is preaching, just like we have Indradur Maharaj's diary of a traveling preacher. The same way, Bhagavatam is the diary of traveling preacher, which is Narada Muni, how he changes so many people's lives. And then I shared one incident of how I was personally touched, and how he showed both emotion, how compassion is very much there, and how His Holiness Bhakticharu Maharaj was so compassionate to me, and how he is at the same time he is so sharp in his intelligence to be able to uh, talk to scientific community and convince them about Krishna consciousness, and then I shared this story of the story John Urban, how he's exploring different cities and how he comes. Of course, this story doesn't end here. It it's a beautifully written one, for especially for the urban youth, and then some lessons about the husband and wife and how Jiva has to take help of, has to purify the dushta buddhi to shuddha buddhi, and then that same buddhi helps us to come to the real friend, which is Krishna. So I'll stop here and see if any devotees have any comments or questions that they may have, and apologies for the short interruption that happened because of the power failure here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. The class was really beautiful. Thanks for covering one story that Marak had written. That was also very helpful to connect. Thanks for summarizing the entire story, and thank you for your association. I really like the class. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. No questions. Just wanted to appreciate Prabhu. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
very much. I didn't know who it was that was speaking because I couldn't see any green.
Oh, this is Preeti Vilasini Das.
Oh, thank
I
you.
think my name is Bhakti Sangha.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so very much for the class. It was wonderful. Really loved all the stories that you told. And you said the story of John Urban is not available online. I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
Yeah, Hridyanand Maharaj had written it long back, and when I search on Google, it's not available.
Okay.
But I have that document. If any devotees want it, I can share on the Bhakti Sangha Japa group, and you can read through the whole. It is very helpful to present our philosophy to some urban, any Westerner and anyone, what is Krishna consciousness all about. So I had just said that because I'm referring to the story, you may search it online, the story of John Urban, but you may not find it. I couldn't find it in the first 2 pages of Google search. So I said I'll post it on the group, and then you can read it at your spare time.
Thank you. Yes, if you would post that, that would be wonderful, Prabhuji. Thank you.
I'm sorry again, I can't see who is it for that I was speaking to. Usually there is a green thing that comes who is speaking, but
okay. This is
I think
Tiffany. This is Tiffany
Okay.
Mataji. Hare
Okay, thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam, Congrats to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhu, for this wonderful class. I've missed the little part of the beginning. But Prabhu, when you've said that it is Dushta Buddhi, and then the intelligence goes into the state where it brings the Jiva to the Lord. So, what is this transformation, and how does it happen? Can you please share a little bit on that, Prabhu?
So it's a very important question, that how does dushta buddhi become shuddha buddhi, and this whole transformation is the real struggle that we all of us have, and it only happens through a desire, and through association, and either we need to come in contact with a great soul that helps us to purify, and along with that, in spite of all the overwhelming desires that we have to enjoy this world, somehow or other, even if there is this one small desire, because just like in the story of Puranjana or John Urban, he there was some curiosity to know what is that, to connect with his old friend. There was some sparse memory about his eternal home, that he is actually not just an explorer going from city to city, and just like a wanderlust. So there was some kind of memory, but that was all hidden. to somehow or other, through the association and through our desire, that we have to start desiring and increase the desire slowly and slowly. And it is the desire and the association that, just like when we chant Hare Krishna, we all chant Hare Krishna because we at some point of time we wanted to chant, but later that desire becomes like a routine thing. So now there is no desire in that chanting. We are just chanting because we chant. But then we have to consciously want to desire. No, I want to chant attentively. Unless the desire is that wanted to chant attentively, no matter how much we hear about different techniques, different things. Just today morning I was hearing His Holiness Devanrit Maharaj speak about how does ISKCON go forward. It's a wonderful talk on GBC SPT platform on the Facebook, and in that he explained that how he created these bhakti lounges, and how we have to change the interface, the same interface that was before 30 years back. If we try to use the same interface, we'll not be able to attract modern youth, modern urban population. And how in New Zealand he changed the interface, that people are no more alarmed by different disciplines, because current generation fears commitment. That commitment is something either in relationship, either to a gadget, either to a particular profession, it's not there. And our philosophy demands a lot of commitment, even right from the outset, that remove your shoes and sit in a particular posture, and respect in this way, offer obeisances. So all this becomes very intimidating. And how in the initial phases, how we can make the interface very welcoming, then more and more people come. And how he was explaining that in New Zealand, more and more locals, they have taken to Krishna consciousness. And how is explaining that in US, it is credit to the Indian community that literally saved ISKCON from becoming extinct. But then we have to think that how can we make the interface more and more welcoming to all kinds of population. And in that he but Gopal Bhattapu asked one thing, that Maharaj, that how do you come up with all these thoughts, and how do you keep your enthusiasm? Because often when we have an idea or something, if it doesn't work out, or people are not taking to it, we become demotivated, the enthusiasm goes off. But you are consistently, for the last 20 years, consistently enthusiastic about this approach, and how we have to reinvent the wheel about our preaching styles. So how do you keep this enthusiasm? And the answer to that was very soothing, very gave me a lot of confidence. I want to share for this particular answer. He said that have great faith in the power of chanting Hare Krishna. Now speaking about changing the interface, but as he's speaking about changing the interface, how the interface is no more as relevant as it was in those days. But in the actual medicine, he has tremendous faith. And because he has tremendous faith in the core substance of Krishna consciousness, he doesn't mind changing the package. And he said the power of chanting Hare Krishna mantra, I have great faith in that, to and especially great faith in chanting Hare Krishna with attention. And then he said, I'm also amazed by the Srila Prabhupada's sacrifices, what he did, and also how, when we take that step to fulfill the desire of the Guru, how it actually works. And he explained how in Russia and different places, how they actually ventured out, and they started with smuggling 5 books of Ishopanishads into the country. And then slowly they started to shift 10,000 books into the country, truckloads of books into the country, because they believed in what Prabhupada, the order of Prabhupada to preach. And if you preach, in the Iron Curtain will go off. The Communist Party will dismantle. And Maharaj said that we didn't believe that Iron Curtain will actually dismantle, but we just believe that Prabhupada wants it, we want to do it. But then do it in a way that is most effective. So this combination of having strong faith and the desire and then execution. So same way, how do we convert our dushta buddhi to shuddha buddhi? By being busy somehow or other, wanting to fulfill and please our spiritual masters, and having the desire. Somehow or other we have to bring out the desire. One way that happens, the desire is, you are going weak in any area, just open YouTube or just open some talk about that particular aspect and hear it. Because when we hear about that particular aspect, then our desire to do it becomes stronger, and then we'll do it for a while. Then again the dushta buddhi, again the buddhi again becomes dushta. Again we clean, just like we clean our homes regularly, the buddhi also tends to become contaminated very regularly because of material association. We have to clean the buddhi regularly through association, through proper desire. So this way we can keep our dushta, and that a day will come when there will be no more chance that our intelligence will become contaminated. And that's the Shuddha Bhakti platform, which by the mercy of spiritual masters will one day uh, reach.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. In one question, you answered so many of my queries. It's always nice to have your association. We are missing you this year in Dallas, Prabhu. I remember last year
I'm
when
also
you came.
missing.
Last year when I think last year when you came, I don't know if you remember, but you had talked about Laglu, which His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj liked, and I made an attempt to send it with you. I don't know whether Maharaj liked it or whether it reached him, but
Yes, I remember.
this
It
is
was
Sita
in the
Priti Prabhu.
series. It was in the
Yes,
series of many efforts, but we tried to convince Maharaj to, and yours definitely was in one of them. I shouldn't say that Maharaj was fully agreeing with what you had made, but definitely said this is much better than what we made, and it gave us some positive direction. And then finally we could come up with a laglus that he liked, and
please
they're
share
still
the
being
recipe,
distributed.
Prabhu.
I have to, the final approved recipe I don't have. Uh, One of the devotees in Bhakti Center will have. I'll try to take it from him and share it on the group or with you.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Koti Koti Dandot Pranam. Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai. Wishing your association in Sadhu Sangha. Hare Hare Bhakti. It's a wonderful nectarian class, Prabhu, as usual. Dandot Pranam.
Dhanyavad Machidi, thank you. Thank you to each and every devotee for sparing your time to come in this Sangha, Bhakti Sangha. I should say this is one of the pioneering groups that had literally shown how we can still be connected in spite of lockdown, in spite of all the social distancing. I told about Bhakti Sangha to so many of our devotee groups here in India, that how you can still be motivated, inspired in spite of being away. Of course, all of you had to do it long before any of us uh, had to do, because of the distance that you all different devotees were there. But when it started in April in Chopati, I had suggested this collective 1 crore japa session, and then our devotees said, devotees chanting together online, it seems to be not a proper idea. But then I had the proof of Bhakti Sangha Japa group, how it works and how I have personally participated in there. And then because all of you were doing, you became pioneers for so many others on the free conference call that we were doing. But of course now this is a much improved platform, the Zoom platform, where we can there is much more connectivity and direct streaming to YouTube. So all of your I've shown all the devotee community an interface that is very valid for us, for devotees to get nourished. But of course, we're still, my mind is still pondering how can we make uh, the interface on this online platform to make somebody new come to Krishna consciousness. Because for devotees that are already interested, they get connected online or any other means. But for someone like Puranjana, some just materially absorbed, so I'm still wondering and hoping that even these platforms, we can make them attractive for outsiders, new people, and bring in Krishna consciousness to them. And one thing that I liked from the talk of the Amrit Maharaj today morning that I heard, the question was, I'll end with this. The question was that Gopal Bhatta Prabhu was that how can ISKCON still keep itself relevant and valid even in current context, where we ourselves are struggling financially and different things. Each temple is, all their financial sustenance is affected. And then Maharaj said that, you know i I joined this movement because this movement was the answer to all the troubles or problems that the world was facing. So I never joined ISKCON because I wanted to join an organization. I joined ISKCON because this was the perfect solution to all the problems that the world is facing. And even now, we should see that this is the solution. It is that we don't go into a survival mode, that we want to protect our buildings, our properties. Yes, that is a need, but this is, as Prabhupada said, that Krishna consciousness movement is the light in the darkest of the times to the world. And how we will, this movement will save the world in the darkest hours. And we have to see ourselves as that each and every devotee is that beacon of light. How in our community all around us, how when the people are becoming hopeless, people are becoming disgruntled about everything that is happening, how we have to see that how we help each one bring hope into their lives to, by Krishna consciousness. And I really like that this is what we exist for. This is what is our identity, as a beacon of light, as a beacon of hope. And if we continue that, then people will want to support a organization, a society that is showing so much hope and light to the world, rather than something that is just wanting to survive as a historical movement. So so as all great spiritual masters are striving, same Bhakti Charu Maharaj, he was developing this D-Land retreat center just with the same motive. And in spite of their uh, aged uh, age and all the troubles that they have, they still, their mind is how can we reach, how can we present Prabhupada's message to and save the world. So let us all play whatever role we can in this, and try to either be the uh, the way by which we can do that, or be in the back end by supporting those that are doing this pioneering effort. But all of you are the pioneers, so uh, congratulations to each and every one of you. And let us continue our prayers for His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj throughout the day. And tomorrow is Ekadashi. In India, it is Ashadi Ekadashi, the first Ekadashi, or a very important Ekadashi. So let us all chant 64 rounds or whatever number of rounds with attention, with affection, and with a deep prayer for the safety and welfare of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. And with this concluding words, uh, I thank each and every devotee. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam of Guru Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Very beautiful class, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
Mataji.
Prabhuji, I want to know the name of the book that Hridayananda Maharaj has written.
It's a novel called as The Story of John Urban.
Okay,
I don't know if it ever got printed, but he wrote this.
okay. Yeah, thank you
I'll
so.
share it on the group. I have it.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. And also, I want to make announcement that tomorrow is the Ekadashi, and we will chant 64 round. Every Ekadashi we chant 64 rounds, Prabhuji, on conference call.
Wonderful. Uh, if it was earlier, I could have joined, but usually by this time my 64 rounds get over. But still, if it's left, or I can join for some half an hour or 1 hour and chant with all the devotees of this group. It will be my uh,
Thank you
pleasure.
so much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. So, Prabhuji, as you were mentioning about such a platform, such a virtual platform, trying to do outreach to people who are completely new, to people out there. So, we just tried something recently which I wanted to share, if it's
Yes,
okay, and
Mataji,
it's been quite successful. So, what we did was we had a summer camp for the kids, and surprisingly, we had over 400 registrations. And we
Oh,
were scratching our heads as to how we are going to accommodate so many children. But Krishna willing, we of course we have a host of very determined and committed teachers and volunteers, which has always been the best part of Bhakti Sangha, where everyone volunteers with all their heart and soul. So everyone came forward, and then in every session we have been having more than 100 students, about 100 or slightly 100 plus students, and it has been very successful. And of these students, of course, it's a mix of both practicing devotees, children, as well as completely brand new people. I mean, who have no idea of Krishna consciousness or who are hearing it for the first time. So the syllabus or the coursework was suited in such a way that it appeals to both audience. And we are successfully completing 1 month of the camp today. As it stands, today is the last day of the camp. And towards the end of the camp, what we did was for the parents, especially for the newcomer parents who have no idea of what Krishna consciousness is. So we have just created, like, in Chapati or other places, they do have this science of self-discovery course and other introductory courses. So mainly for the parents, we have created an introduction to Bhagavad Gita kind of a course where many new people have registered. And for the existing devotees who have come to Bhakti Sangha and who have been practicing Krishna consciousness, we are bringing them to join our early morning Bhagavatam and CC classes. So until we, of course, execute that self-discovery course or introduction to Bhagavad Gita, like an 8-week course just for the new parents, we won't know the results. But we feel that through kids, the point is through children, definitely newcomer parents are interested, because directly targeting the people out there, we can't go and do book distribution in a virtual platform where we go and attract the general public. But the best we could do is through the children, we are able to bring in a lot of new parents. So I thought that strategy is kind of successful, at least looking at the number of people who are interested to join the new course. But until we make them into devotees, I mean, quote unquote, practicing devotees, we may not know further results. But I just thought that's a useful thing that we can follow.
wonderful.
First, attract the children, and through them, the parents come.
Wonderful. Who is this speaking? I cannot again make out.
Okay,
who
this
it
is
was.
again, I'm on the name Bhakti Sangha. I'm Preeti Vilasanadasi.
Oh, Mataji, excellent initiative and strategy. And thank you for sharing this. I got more faith in this particular approach. And as you said, that new people may not be interested, but definitely for children, they want to do it. I had, when lockdown had started, no, May, I had read one cartoon that said that if very soon, if scientists don't invent a vaccine, then parents will invent, because they are so bothered by their children. So,
So true.
so definitely, everyone is troubled by all the noise and things that kids do, and it's a wonderful way, and it has always worked offline, where through children we have attracted people, but on the online medium, because the need is still more stronger because of the lockdown and children not going anywhere to engage the kids.
Yeah.
And even here in Chopati we have started that, and I'll recommend this to more and more devotees, and maybe you can share with me the whole way you did this, because one of the main challenges with online outreach or this kind of preaching is their continuancy, is their commitment, because people usually tend to drop out after a while. We make something attractive, and then one day, 2 day, and then they find something else. So so many YouTube things are there, and but especially for the kids, because they want to help the kids, it's a very important way to
Yes.
keep, because it's all about habit. If you make someone come to us for 2 months regularly, then they are hooked. Then
Yes.
it just becomes part of the cycle that they want to
Ex-
come. But
exactly.
how can we make them coming? And thank you for this sharing
So
this idea.
yeah, I just wanted to add that we have this camp from afternoon 2 to 5, and now everybody is so hooked onto it, and they are really upset that the camp is getting over, and they want us to continue the camp. So what we did was we also have year-round classes for our children based on age group. That is 2 to 7, and then 7 to 10, and 11 to 16. So that is how we have split our teams, and we have pulled them into our regular classes, and they are more than willing to join our regular classes. They are very, very happy because of the content that was given. One thing is, Prabhu, I honestly feel that when there is a lot of variety in the content, people get hooked onto it for a long time, because our attendance was very consistent from day one till the last day. I would say maybe, yes, definitely, as you said, some people would drop out here and there, but still, overall consistency was still there till the last day of the camp.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So definitely, Prabhu, we can share all our classes are on YouTube. The entire camp was live. So all the classes, each and every class based on age group. So we can just share the YouTube
Yeah, yeah.
links, and probably you can get.
Yeah. Till now, our
So,
main weapons were prasadam and
mm,
experience of kirtan and that relationship. But now, but we never focused on our our core, our presentations and activities. But now this is the time where we have to work on that, because this is the only thing that we can offer to them currently. So
thank
thank
you,
you very
thank you.
much, Mataji, for sharing
Hare
this
Krishna.
success story. And I wish more and more devotees come, and each one here, literally from their homes, can make a difference to the consciousness of the world through their chanting and through their sincere efforts to serve in whatever way possible. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much.
Oh, go ahead, Mataji.
No, Tiffany Mataji, you can go ahead.
Okay, Hare Krishna. First, I just want to say, Jai, Priti Balasini, everything you said was amazing. That's incredible. I'm so happy to hear all of that.
So this is the second pioneering thing that I'm hearing from Bhakti Sangha. Amazing. First is the Sangha itself. Now the second is preaching through this. Wonderful.
Yes. And Braj Mohan Prabhuji, I just wanted to ask you, who is the author of Disappointed but Not Disowned, that book you mentioned?
Gauranga Darshan Prabhu,
Oh, okay.
he is a brahmachari from Govardhan Eco Village. He has many books that he has written. So one of the books is I'm not sure if it is available in US, but in India it is available on Amazon.
Okay.
Dis,
Okay.
disappointed but not disowned.
Okay. Hare Krishna,
No,
thank you.
sorry, sir, not disappointed. Disapproved but not disowned.
Disapproved. Okay. Okay.
We
Thank
may
you so
disapprove
much.
someone's actions, but we never disown a person. So that's the whole concept, that in the Bhagavatam, how we Krishna disapproves the activities, sinful activities, but he never disowns any living soul. So that was the book.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And yeah, we will thank all the Vaishnavas and Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. His Grace Braja Mohan Prabhuji ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Prabhupada
jai.
ki jai.